the Seadogs podcast.
The shoots. What a goal!
All things Scarborough Athletic FC.
Yes, Will Thornton, the captain.
This is The Coast.
That's a goal, 1-0 for Scarborough.
Hello and welcome to episode 61 of the Seadogs podcast, all things Scarborough Athletic FC, hosted by me, Paddy, Billington, lifelong Borough fan and breakfast show presenter at This is The Coast, the local commercial radio station for the Yorkshire coast. Well, we're going to be speaking to Trevor Bull, Scarborough's chairman. Bit of a New Year's message, really, to fans. We'll find out his thoughts on how he thinks the season is going as we sort of tip over the other side of the halfway point of the season, both on and off the pitch. We'll also find out the latest on the timings for diggers to hit the ground at the Scarborough Sports Village. We've been told it is going to happen this month. So what does the club know? We'll talk about that. And some breaking news, the Scarborough Athletic Chester game has been deemed to be playable, which is great news for all concerned. Last week we wanted another Saturday fixture being called off.
The Seadogs podcast, all things Scarborough Athletic FC.
Great strike though, 2-1 Boro.
This is The Coast.
And also, we've been asking this question on the Scarborough Athletic supporters group on Facebook. If you could relive one Borough game, just one Borough game again, what would it be? We've had some amazing comments, some great memories, some real nostalgia, so we'll plough our way through those comments very, very shortly. Don't forget you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from so you don't miss an episode and you're notified when the latest one drops. We are on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and always at thisisthecoast.co.uk/podcasts. Trevor Bull, Scarborough Athletic Chairman, Happy New Year. Welcome to the Seadogs podcast. And of course, this is the year that we'll end up playing back in Scarborough again.
It's brilliant. We've sort of heard it all before a few years ago, and sort of coming back to town, it's going to make our year, make our season, make everything else. That's what we're all working so hard to make sure happens.
So how do you see the season so far in terms of position in the league? Absolutely phenomenal. That's great. Obviously, the injuries haven't been so good. When it comes to crowds and things like that, I mean, what's your overall feeling at this halfway point in the season?
Well, I think if I start by saying that, put all the ground problems and everything else to one side. Let's say we'd been playing at the Scarborough Sports Village this season. If you'd said to me, you'll be starting the new year in the playoff positions with 37 points on the board, I think we'd have taken that. So to have achieved that with everything else that's going on, I think is a magnificent achievement all round.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Obviously, there are challenges playing in Bridlington. The crowds, we knew they were going to be lower, sometimes a bit lower than we'd like. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, we've just our last home game was our biggest crowd of the season against Darlington, and we would expect that. But then again, it was probably 1,000 down on what it would have been if we'd been playing it in Scarborough. So that's the size of the impact that the crowds are having. And of course, we end up with situations like it's happening again at the moment. We're getting Saturday games postponed, and they then become a Tuesday. So crowds have dipped dramatically on Tuesday nights. I think we're down to between 500 and 600 now, which is really quite concerning. But we just got to find a way through it. Saturday crowds have held up. We started around 1,000. We're averaging around about 800 or so on a Saturday, which is good. It's more than double what we used to get when we played in Bridlington first time round. So we've got to be pleased with that. But we have to remember that match days and attendance is really the only way that we can make money between now and the end of the season. So we need that support to keep travelling. Yeah,
so obviously the message is to keep supporting Borough in person if you can. And if it's that case of, shall we not? Just go, because actually you're doing such a favour for the club that you support, to help the club going. Because like we keep saying, they can't do much more on the pitch. No, I think you're right. We're all in this together, and because we're a fan-zone club, we are all in it together. We've all got an equal stake in this, and we just need to keep supporting the club to keep the finances ticking over to get us back to Scarborough, and then we'll go again. We need to be thinking about surviving this season. I said in the summer that priority number one is that we don't lose our football club, and we're not in a position at the moment where we're going to lose it. I think we're going to get our way through as long as we can keep getting people through the bid, and we're fine because
our finances are such as that is the only thing that's a variable now. Everything else we know what income we've got coming in, but it's the crowds that we need to keep up. So I'm pretty confident that we're going to save our football club. Then we need to do the best we can on the pitch, which we are doing. And then we need to come back to Scarborough in a fit and healthy condition to give it a real good go again and just generate that interest in football that we've lost, because we've got a situation at the moment where there's a lot of people, it's not through choice, they just can't get through to Bridlington. A lot of the youngsters that would go down to the ground on their own, they can't get through to Bridlington. Some of the elderly are finding it particularly difficult. And certainly our disabled supporters have found it incredibly difficult to get through there, and many of them have had to write this season off already. So we've got to get back to the town so those people can enjoy the football again.
Yeah, and you know that when we do get back to playing in Scarborough, the interest is going to be massive, a bit like it was first time round, which is great, something to look forward to. And you must be already, I suppose, planning ahead to when Scarborough are back playing at home again, in terms of, how to develop things even more, because so many things have changed and progressed over the years since moving to Weaponness and the Scarborough Sports Village. And you must be thinking, right, what can we do to really improve things more?
Yeah, absolutely, because we've got to give our supporters the best match day experience we possibly can. As you know, since we moved into that facility, We've built several new stands. We've created the fan zone. We've created our own bar. We've done an awful lot, and we need to be ready to go again. But of course, that takes money, so that may take some time to make more improvements. But yes, we are starting to plan for next season, because we've got to try and get all our sponsors back on board, because so there's quite a lot of sponsors left us because they couldn't see the value of supporters when we were in Bridlington. We've got to try and re-engage with them, and there's a lot of work to do to re-engage with sponsors, and we've got to re-engage with the public of Scarborough, because we've got maybe 800 people that used to go on a Saturday down to the sports village that aren't going to Bridlington, and we need to give them plenty of reasons to start going again, because some of them may have found different things to do, but we're hoping not. We're hoping that they're going to come back and will give us a boost. And I don't want to put too much pressure on Jono, but I will be reminding him that last time we came back to Scarborough, we got promoted in our first season.
he might get it done this season, Trevor.
Well, he might do. He might do. If we could come back as a member of the National League, that would be unbelievable, wouldn't it?
Well, you'd have to build another stand, wouldn't you, Trevor? That's the thing.
We would. Never mind a stand. We'd have to build him a statue.
I can just see it now. I want to be there when we cut the ribbon. Stay there, Trevor. We will chat more shortly.
The Seadogs Podcast.
Right now, though, let's get the first set of comments on the question that we've asked. Which ONE Boro game, if you could choose just one, would you love to experience all over again? Keith Render says, North Riding, Scarborough Athletic versus York City. Down to penalties, what a great night. We were behind the goal, and also Scarborough against Chelsea. We were singing our hearts out. Stephen Stewart says, as someone who doesn't actually support Scarborough, Bradford always had a soft spot for Boro, I'd have to say the final at Farsley about 10, 11 years ago against Marine. Lost 1-0, but the amount of Scarborough fans there on a Friday night was incredible. Mick Bradley, Scarborough 3, Chelsea 2 in the League Cup after the 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge. Darren Trapp's Crew 3, Scarborough 3. Ian Lambert, Warrington playoff final. And David Edmondson, the 1976 FA Trophy final versus Stafford Rangers. And Ben Vickers says Kings Lynn away. Of course, in that game, Scarborough were 3-0 down at half-time, and somehow, from somewhere, won 4-3. And I was commentating, and I always talk about the guy that was sitting in front of me from the local newspaper in Kings Lynn, who'd already written Scarborough off with his headline, and he had to change the wording at the very end, which was extremely satisfying. More of those comments coming up very, very shortly. Firstly, back to Trevor Bull, Scarborough Athletic chairman. I mean, the fact that Scarborough are 6 in National League North, despite playing their home games in Bridlington, the fact that we even got a game in hand on 4 of the 5 teams ahead of us, we've had all the injuries. I mean, the team could not be giving any more, could they?
It has been really difficult. You know, we've had up to 7 sort of first teamers, if you like to call them that, sat watching games on some matches, and it is really difficult because players are having to play more minutes than they should, etc., etc. But we are starting to get through it now. You know, it was great this last week. We've had Lewis Maloney back getting some minutes. We've had Jake Hull back on the field, and these are really top players that can really influence matches. We've got Steve Walker, who was really high up in the league's goal scoring charts before he got injured. He's back on the pitch again, so our injury list is less than it was, but it's still substantial. So we still need to be mindful of that. But of course, Jono's done a great job getting players in on loan from some championship sides, and the likes of Hull City have been absolutely wonderful with us, letting us borrow some of their younger players, and those links are invaluable for a team like ourselves.
Yeah. When do you believe that work is going to get started at Scarborough Sports Village? Then you must be counting down the seconds till they start digging it up, that pitch.
Well, we haven't been given a date, and it's probably a good job given the snow at the moment. But no, we haven't been given a date. I keep focused on the fact that they've assured us that it'll be finished before next season. So I'm not overly concerned about the start date. Although, like everybody else, I'd love to see them make the start. It's the start date is not concerning me. It's just we need to keep focused on the end date, that we will be back next season. That is where we need to focus our energies.
Obviously, the Hereford game cancelled, postponed for a third time, which is amazing. Yeah. I wonder what the record is, actually. Maybe you would know what the record is for the same fixture being postponed numerous times. But
I don't know. But we've had this situation with Hereford a year or two back as well. So it seems fated that Hereford is the team that we do this with. But we've ended up with a situation now that in March, in 10 days, we're going to be playing them twice, home and away. So it throws up all sorts of different connotations, because between ourselves and Hereford, nearly every week we're playing Saturday, Tuesday. So I think it's been rescheduled. I think it's the 4th of March. So it's not very often as a postponed game gets put back a full 2 months. Yeah,
that's incredible, isn't it? And like you say, lots of games coming up, but as we know, the players prefer matches to training sessions, so I'm sure they'll be itching to get on the pitch. And I said to Jono as well, at the halfway point, if we can get the same amount of points in the second half of the season, it'd be 72, which would be a real improvement on the 58 from last season. And so a lot of big games to come, really. And with Scarborough in 6th position as we record this, with games in hand on 4 of the 5 teams above them as well. I mean, things really are actually quite exciting, and if people can just get hold of the fact that we are in such a great position, and we could have an extremely exciting climax to the season if we can get ourselves in the playoffs, the National League North playoffs, for a place in the National League. I mean, that really would be incredible, wouldn't
it? It would be incredible, and to add to the excitement, we've got 2 more home games and away games left to play. So. That could work in our favour towards the end of the season. So, there's lots to look forward to. But as you say, if we could get a playoff place, that would which would mean that we'd finish the highest this club had ever done in a season where we've been in such turmoil. Wow, that would be worth celebrating.
Okay, Trevor Bull, Scarborough Athletic Chairman, with me on the Seadogs podcast. We will chat more very shortly.
The Seadogs podcast, all things Scarborough Athletic FC.
Right now, though, more of your comments on the one Scarborough game that you could that you would relive if you could. Darren Foreman says York 92-93 season at home for selfish reasons. That will be, no doubt, the hat-trick game for Darren Foreman, and I think we all remember it well. Those of us who were around and watching the game, of course, will always remember that one. Accrington away, says Jamie Towse. Graham Toyne, Borough v Southend, FA Cup third-round replay, January 2004. Yeah, that was a cracking atmosphere, wasn't it? Because we knew that we were going to be playing Chelsea at home if we won, and we did. It was incredible. Ian Holtby, League Cup, Plymouth 3, Borough 3. Mark Levingston, Southend away, the 1-1 draw. And then the FA Cup third round replay. Lewis Palmer, York City Boxing Day 2004. I was mascot, little whippersnapper, once a Sea Dog, always a Sea Dog, and we spanked him 5-1. Brian Marigold remembers the 1976 final. And Peter Moss says, Stratford Town, the cup tie away, an amazing night and atmosphere. It was banging. That was a great night, wasn't it? Where we scored those goals in extra time. It was just incredible. I was on the radio really early the next morning. Didn't care a hoot. I was going to get back just before the start of the show. It was brilliant. Let's go back to Trevor Bull, Scarborough Athletic Chairman. So here we are in 2026. Have you already started the process of, picking the new kit for the 2026-27 season?
Yeah, we do that. That process has to be started quite early. So, yeah, we've already started that process. So, yeah. I can tell you a little secret, though, that it's the home kit's going to be red.
Who'd have thought? Well, there we go. That is breaking news. That is breaking news. Yeah. And here's actually an interesting question, actually. I wonder how long it has been predominantly red for. I know we moved away a little bit in the 90s, didn't we, with the white shirts, the white shirt in the early 90s, and then again a couple of times in the late 90s. But when it properly sort of changed to red? I'm sure it'll be on the internet somewhere, won't it? But
yeah, I'm not 100%, but I know I started watching the club in 1968 and it was red then. I remember one season out of the late 60s, early 70s, we had a white shirt with red hoops around the collars and the collar and cuffs. And we had that, obviously we had the Black Death vodka thing that was a bit weird. But yeah, we've occasionally gone down the white route, but no, I always think of Scarborough being a red club. Yeah,
me too. And I always tell that famous story. My dad taking me to Scarborough against Barnsley in a pre-season friendly, and for some reason Scarborough were wearing yellow and blue, and I remember we thought Barnsley had scored and all the Scarborough fans were cheering, and my dad said, "No, it's a friendly, but that's ridiculous." And only after that we realised that it was Scarborough in yellow and blue and Barnsley playing in red, I think, if I remember. I was very small, so and he wasn't, fully into, the players and all that, so that's why we had the mix-up, but quite funny, really.
An easy mistake.
An easy mistake, yeah. So, yeah, we'll look forward to that. Generally, you're saying that, the club's future, you are confident that we're going to get through this season, which is massively helpful. But there are still, of course, ways for fans to get involved, even if they can't make the games, whether it's buying stuff from the club shop online or donating to the match day fund as well.
Yeah. We've got the No Battle, No Victory fund that's ticking away nicely in the background, and the people that are contributing to that every month, they are really making a difference. That is something that is really keeping us going through these difficult times.
Yeah,
we've got the Count Me In campaign on a match day. If people can't make it through to Billington, they can donate what they would normally spend through that. We're still selling shirts and bobble hats and scarves and everything we can. So.
Yeah,
and we must take this opportunity to thank our supporters, because as one, the support we've had both through financially and just through people's commitment and care has been tremendous over these past 8 to 9 months since we let people know that we'd got this problem. We're 100% fans owned. We're 100% responsible for solving this problem, and our supporters have taken this very, very seriously, and we're working as one to make sure we get through and come home in great shape.
And finally, can you believe that next June Scarborough Athletic will turn 20?
A year in June.
Yeah, a year in June. So I'm just saying next June. Yeah, June Scarborough turns 20. Scarborough Athletic turns 20, which is amazing, isn't it? To think 20 years it'll be next year. I know we're jumping ahead here, but getting the best part of 2 decades now is quite incredible, isn't it?
Well, it is incredible, and these anniversaries keep coming up. And I was reminded recently that towards the end of this season, it'll be 50 years since we won at Wembley, one of our Wembley victories. So the years just keep ticking by, don't they? And last Saturday, it was 50 years since we played Crystal Palace in the FA Cup and were the first match of the day.
Yeah, incredible. That was a bit before my time, but Mr. Adamson was telling me that fact. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
All right, well, Trevor, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it, and I will see you on the terraces soon. I've been trying to grab a chat with you for ages, but you just keep walking past me when I'm busy. Because of course you like to be on the terraces cheering on the team.
Absolutely. I promise you I wasn't ignoring you, Paddy.
No, I know that. All right, all the best. Thank you for now. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Bye for now.
Scarborough's chairman, Trevor Bull, there, speaking to us on episode 61 of the Seadogs podcast. Let's do some more of these comments then on the ONE Boro game that you would relive if you could. Warrington, says Jason Fennick. Lee Johnson, Sheffield United, the friendly, where Jimmy Beadle scored. That was a great game, wasn't it? It was a friendly, but it was our first game in our new home, and it was very special. It was really special that Beadle had scored the last goal at the old place and the first goal at the new place. That was just sort of written in the stars. Sarah Ward, Merthyr was a great game. That was a great game, wasn't it? The game this season where we went behind and won 3-1. That was brilliant. And we celebrated me and the other half by walking up Penny Van, the tallest mountain in southern Britain, on the way home, which was it seemed like a good idea at the time. When we were on the top in the freezing cold, it might have seemed less good as it was starting to go dark and we still had a long drive home. Tim Rowe, Kings Lynn 3-4 away win. Yep, 1973 FA Trophy final, says Barry Watson. Preston at home in the FA Cup around 1975, says Rich Teal. David Bowerbank, 1976 FA Trophy final versus Stafford Rangers. So lots and lots of comments. You can keep them coming in on the Scarborough Athletic Supporters Group Facebook page. And we'll wrap things up on episode 61 of the Seadogs podcast with the very latest Scarborough Athletic news. As we've been hearing, it is really important to get behind the Seadogs at the home games at the Mounting System Stadium. And with the news, as it is at the moment, as we record that the Boro v Chester game is on 3 o'clock kickoff, then let's really pack out the place with as many Seadogs fans as possible. Upcoming fixtures include AFC Fylde versus Boro on the 17th of January and Scarborough against Kidderminster Harriers on the 24th of January, and another big game, Radcliffe against Scarborough on the 27th of January, and on the 31st of Jan, Boro v Worksop Town. These are all really big fixtures against high-flying sides. In other news, Scarborough Athletic are delighted to announce that TIC Health are running a 50% off all membership promotion for fans to launch their incredible sponsorship of the National League. Also, great news came in just before the new year. The club delighted to announce that reserve team player George Palmer has been selected for England under-18 schoolboys. George follows in the footsteps of Callum Hudson, who had success in the squad last year. George took his first training sessions at St George's Park with his fellow England squad members before the Christmas break. Don't forget, there are sponsorship packages available. Match day sponsorship is just £200 plus VAT. You get a signed shirt, pre-match Q&A with Jono. You can choose the man of the match. You get mentioned in the programme, social media coverage and mentions on the tannoy as well. You can email Rhiannon and you can find her email address on the club website. As Trevor was mentioning as well, there is the Count Me In campaign for those that really can't make it to Bridlington but still want to donate maybe what they would spend on a ticket or something else on match day. And you can become a club owner. You can enjoy the mascot package. There's the Boro draw. There's all sorts of opportunities to help support the club financially. Thanks so much for listening to episode 61. I can't make the Scarborough-Chester game. Unfortunately, I'm working, but we will have full match commentary. We are the only radio station to have full match commentary of every single game this season so far, including those North Riding Senior Cup fixtures. We're at them all, and I want to say a massive thank you to Will Baines, Mark Thompson, John Collins, who've all helped chip in with commentary duties. Much appreciated. So yeah, if you really, really, really can't make the game, then you'll get full match commentary by Boro fans, for Boro fans on This Is The Coast Extra at thisisthecoast.co.uk/extra. But if you can make it to the Mounting System Stadium, please do. And let's get Boro over the line in a big game against Chester with 3 massive points. Thanks for listening.
The Seadogs podcast, all things Scarborough Athletic FC.
Great strike though, 2-1 Boro.
This is The Coast.